Key words. With Peter and Jane. Mountain adventure. In an unfortunate misunderstanding of an assumed typo, Simon was confronted mid-shit in the foyer by the real estate agent. But as he and his brother John had considerable him and me both money, they wrote a check for twice the market value and had the owner pick it up to use as lipstick. Terence tended the wainscoting. John was struggling to align the clapboards for staring up at where Jane's headlights ought to have been, while Simon and Philip were hastily whitewashing the homoerotic frieze left by the previous tenant. John teased Simon about the Greco-Roman boogery he'd painted over, swatting his brother against the cheek with the punching ball and dangling gloves. By his 117th similar slide Elmwood addressed the size and snickering behind him. Did any of them summit Finnegar north of Cardiff? Or serve as deputy chief advisor to a certain Mr. Hugh Grants, the English man who went up a hill and came down a mountain? Ha! Well then how about shutting the fuck up and letting a brother bring this thing home then? He seethed, adjusting his cardigan and advance the carousel with extra pregnant pauses, twixt clicks. Something he'd soundly regret at evening judo practice where Simon employed Fromunda Thunda crotch-facing technique to the full extent of Bushido law. The hills may well have been alive with the sound of music, but if John didn't stop fanning his arms out and rocking back and forth in this flying lawn chair. Teresa was less than impressed by the gondola, having won the coveted Blue Tit Fez 3 years running at the county fair for successive rotor rides without vomiting. Yo 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 yo. Was that Risa on the platform? 6 corn dogs. Batter fried pack of Bubblicious and a bale of cotton candy for all thumb spins bruh. She aren't that hat. Kin legend. You'll what biatch? Asked John, giving his sib a tooth loosener across the chops. This is for mooshing your sack in my face at the dojo. Nature's splendor was wasted on the boy fixated on Teresa. Aunt Gerhardt the beturtleneck German exchange student was clearing his throat far more loudly than he realized, trying to ask these girls if they too also like Mountain and Vesa they would like to share a part of the pretzel mit bitter mustard he had pecked for this trip. Damn it, deem it. UOWLV's Fox sings up Gary. He aired, punching himself in the beard. As the oblivious girls went on planning their route without him. Rutger Hauer now ran the Hauer of Power Mountain Equipment Chalalalale, he whose chalet at base camp. They may have remembered him from such blockbusters as Blade Runner, The Hitcher, and that thing where they kicked a goat head around. They may have, but they didn't. So he stopped raising his eyebrows and leaned in for recognition, sadly took their rental fees and sold them soft drinks. Fuck them. Fuck Liam Neeson, and fuck you too while he's at it. Munian equipment. Elmwood was assisting his Sherpa trainee in the socks and sandals in packing essentials. Thermos of stevia fortified rooibos sweet tea, check. Bulbous toed Ronald McDonald boots, check. Jabba the Hutt commemorative knapsack. Checkity check chi-yek. Selfies were in their infancy when Super 8 was king, and this one turned out about like you imagined. Coors put a lot of falsehoods into people's heads about pristine mountain water clarity. But if Alpine Zack and the Bomber Jack didn't chill with the bottles full of elk feces-ized creek tails here, he'd soon be sphinctiding this bridge in liquefied organ matter. The sheep knew it on gone for the leaves on that weird little branch-like horizontal tree growing from that outcrop boulder crack. Knew if he hadn't skipped shearing the past couple rounds the cliff tumble would have powdered every bone in his back. And he didn't need these 2 holes taunting him with, "Ba, AAAAAAD choice," and, "Meh he the FA armor will send a he helicopter," bullshit. Dirk had summered on farms up north. Had an affinity for the warmth of sheep, and was a party to the ovine code that such livestock honored their debts, so of course, he repelled into action. Ears flattened, wide-eyed and unable to articulate. The price of its rescue, the beleaguered creature was hoisted to safety. The troll hadn't lived under this bridge in years, but if Billy weren't able to cross the Gaad thing, this flock of Waldos wouldn't either. And he kicked boulders 100 times his weight down to splinter the crossing into the rapids below. Karmic justice was swiftly meted out, as it slid down with the ensuing landslide Stevie Nicks had foreseen. Dirk pieced apart its mangled remains and pan-fried that bridge breaking by a Osterd. They were like 50 steps from the peak, when who but Karen and dropped her earring way down the hillside. "Look, we'll all pitch in to get you a new pair," said Dirk, but no, her grandma made her these for her birthday. Typical fucking Karen Ann. Dirk, intent on showing these PUDs how David Lee Roth did it on the Skyscraper album cover, slipped so fast and ignobly when his harness jerked him to a halt, his balls jammed so far up his ass he coughed pubes. Marcia was precariously depicting the gondola. Cindy was patiently being dripped on. Jan was painting all 20 of her nails in navy blue watercolor, wondering why no one would sit by her. Rhododendra was as sure as she could be that this was Robert the Cursed Doll from Key West. Knew that it caused accidents, moved on its own and was in league with the devil. But she let her nephew buy him anyway, get some.